Hey, beautiful people. So, I wanted to give some context to these clips. So, a decade ago, I lived in Austin, Texas, and I was there. I didn't know anybody except, the people that I worked with. And I saw an invite for this event called She Inspires. And I said, you know what? Let me take my introverted self to this event. And I ended up going not knowing that I would meet a lifelong friend. And so my friend Nisi had another She Inspires brunch to celebrate a decade of bringing women together from all different walks of life who share a love for God. And so for this particular brunch, I spoke on a panel where we talked about faith. And so it just felt really good to be in such an inviting and y'all, it was just such a good day. Just talking about faith, talking about things we've struggled with, things that we're struggling through now, things that we've learned, things that we've unlearned, all the things. And so every year I go to Austin for this event in November, and it just made my heart so happy. Hello, good people. I hope you are doing well. If you are new here, my name is Krystle. I am a writer, author, content creator. I'm currently documenting writing my debut romance novel, and sometimes I like to throw in a little bit of life, throw in a little bit of faith. So it has been quite some time since I've actually picked up the camera and talked to y'all. I have picked up my phone and recorded clips here and there, and you more than likely will see that before you see this clip. But y'all, it's been, 2025 has just been a very interesting year from beginning to end. But when I say that, I don't necessarily mean all bad. The month of October was just a very heavy month for me mentally, and so I gave myself some grace once again, because I've had many months this year where I gave myself some grace, but I just did not have the mental capacity to create long form content. So editing does take some time, so I didn't really do a whole lot of recording in October. And then in November, well, actually, let me backtrack. So I typically don't talk about work things, my actual job, but what I will say is that I was directly impacted by the shutdown. So I did not work for about a month and a half. Now, that was a blessing in disguise because I was able to spend so much time with God every single day. I woke up every morning having quiet time, journaling, checking in with myself, checking in with God. Pretty much looked like waking up, having quiet time, going for a walk, getting my steps in, and then I wrote every day. I literally woke up every day as if I was going to work, and that was my routine every single day. Wake up, quiet time, go for my daily walk. Sometimes I would go on more than one walk, but I would spend 8 to 10 hours a day writing. So I say that one day I want to be a full-time writer. Let's be that, because I now have the time to write more than I usually can, and so I took full advantage of that time. And so was it enjoyable not knowing when I was gonna go back to work and not getting a paycheck? No. But I'm grateful to say that I was fine. And yeah, I just feel like I used the time to invest in the things that matter the most to me. And so yeah, it was time well spent. So in terms of writing, the first week of me being furloughed, I did work on the third draft of my book, and then I hit a roadblock, and I decided, okay, I have this time, I'm at home, I'm kind of taking a risk because I don't know when exactly I'm going to go to work, but I decided to write the third draft from scratch. And so in a month and a half, I pretty much rewrote the entire book. And I may have mentioned this yes, I did mention this in the last video. I talked about reading Save the Cat and how that has transformed. I just so wish, if you are writing a novel, I just highly encourage you to read Save the Cat. And even if you're in the middle of writing a manuscript, pick up the book. So beneficial. And although I wish that I read it before I started writing my romance novel, I'm so glad that I picked it up, I got it. And anywho, I hit this roadblock. I decided to read Save the Cat. I completely obliterated my previous outline. I wrote a whole new outline, and I got to writing, and I'm happy to report, happy to say that I have completed my manuscript. Now, I don't really know if I should say I'm on a third draft. It's the same characters. The storyline is different. It is different, and I feel like I was able to plan things out on the draft that I have now with just more detail, more well thought out. I had a more fleshed out idea, a more fleshed out outline. So maybe in a way this isn't really a third draft because the story is completely different. Okay, it is completely different from the first draft for sure, but even the second draft, it is just a better story. It is better written, and I feel really good about what I've written, and this draft truly makes me happy. Now, with every draft, I have been very proud of myself. I've said before that the first draft just felt like a brain dump. I needed to prove to myself that I could find 100K words, and I did. However, it wasn't the most clean version, of course, because it was my first draft, and it was a very rough draft. And then the second draft, I spent a month and a half cleaning up. So yeah, anyway, we're here now. Okay, I have a complete third draft, and I would not be able to say that if I wasn't furloughed, because I had the time on my hands to rewrite it, and I did, and I'm grateful. And so yeah, that is where we are with the book, and I am back to work. So that's a book update, a life update. But I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I cannot complain. Yesterday was Thanksgiving. If you know me in real life, you know that my parents are my favorite people on the earth. So spending time with them is always 10 out of 10 for me. I love them. I am grateful for them. And so I spent Thanksgiving with them and some other family on yesterday. And it is Friday. It is the 28th. It is the last weekend in November, which is, I know I'm not the only person who's thinking this or who said it out loud. I cannot believe that we are already at the end of November. But I have not picked up this camera, but I made a promise to myself. I made a commitment to myself that I would continue to show up here, that I would continue to document the process. And although the last 2 months I did not necessarily pick up the camera, I did post a few things on TikTok. If you're not following me on TikTok, please do. But yeah, I am feeling good. I'm feeling good, and I'm sending my book to my editor on Sunday. So there's no there's no turning back now. So this weekend I am going to do a very rough edit of the book. I just want to read through it. I want to make sure that I'm sending over a very well-written draft. I know that my editor Val, she's gonna tear it to shreds, and we're gonna make it better. I'm gonna make it better, but I want to make sure that the version that I'm sending her is as good as it can get at this point. So, and like I said, I'm very happy, I'm very pleased, I'm very grateful for getting this far. And my goal was to have a completed manuscript by the end of 2025, and for a while I did not know if that was going to happen, but everything has worked out and I'm very grateful, very grateful. So like I said, it's the last weekend in November. Krystle made a commitment to herself, and so all the footage that I have, whatever I have, I'm going to put it together. It's going to be in this video. Maybe you saw it already, I don't know, but I'm happy to be in a mental place, a good place to get back to creating here and documenting this process. And if you are thinking about writing a book, if you're in the middle of writing a book, I just want to, matter of fact, it doesn't even have to be a book, but whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that God has told you to do, or whatever it is that you've been saying for years, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I just want to encourage you. I want to remind you that time waits on no one. Okay, what I'm saying is not even profound, or this isn't the first time I'm sure you've heard this, but time is very precious. How we spend our days, it's very important, and we ought to live with intention. And what's the quote? That success is success is the sum of small efforts, day in and day out. No one writes a book in a day, or if somebody is writing a whole romance novel in a day, I've never met them before. But every day is an opportunity to get closer and closer and closer and closer to that thing that you want to accomplish. And so every day might look different. We all have different responsibilities, different things, people pulling us in different directions. But if we maximize on the time that we do have available to us, we'll just keep getting closer and closer and closer to that thing that we want to accomplish. So yeah, so I am going to be in for the rest of the night. I am not going anywhere. I do need to clean up my bedroom because this is a hot mess, but tonight I'm just writing. I'm not going anywhere. So that's what we're doing tonight. I have Thanksgiving leftovers in the fridge, so there's no need to go buy food, but I am in the house, and then tomorrow 9 times out of 10 we're going to go write somewhere. I haven't decided if I'm going to go somewhere new or go to the coffee shop that basically became my office for the time that I wasn't working. So we will see. But yeah, I hope you are doing well. I hope that you're taking care of yourself. I hope that you have been checking in with yourself. Y'all, it's almost a new year, and you still have time to make progress on, you know, those things that you wanted to accomplish this year. If you're thinking to yourself, man, I let the whole year pass me by and I didn't do X, Y, and Z, you still have time. You still have time to create a plan so that you can execute whatever it is that you want to accomplish. So be kind to yourself, give yourself some grace. We cannot do anything about the days behind us, but we can control how we show up for the days ahead of us. So God willing. So anywho, we are going to write tonight. Like I said, there's nothing exciting going on over here. I did a video on TikTok a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, sacrifice is not sexy. You want to write a book, you got to sit down and write. You want to do a thing, You have to make time for it, and sometimes that means missing out and not being out and about. And for me, I don't suffer from FOMO, so that's not a problem over here. Anywho, I'm rambling as always, so we will get some writing done, and I will talk to y'all later. I just rewatched that clip. Don't mind that mess back there. My fro, yeah, she needs to be washed. She needs to be cut. But y'all ignore my lopsided fro in that last clip, okay? Okay, y'all, so on this day, I did not even think about pulling out the camera. I had one mission, and that was to finish the editing that I started the day before, and to finish up the epilogue, and to send it off to my editor, and that is exactly what I did. And for the rest of the day, I pulled out an adult coloring book, and I really needed to do something that was completely mindless, where I could just turn my brain off. And so that's what I did. I put on music and I pulled out my adult coloring book, and I just decompressed for the rest of the day. So I know this video was not super long, but hey, this is me showing up as my authentic self. I pulled out the camera when I could, and I am glad that I was able to do a little bit of a check-in, because again, I am documenting this process. And so I will see you all in the next video.